all of this started with the allegations which were made by the minority in Parliament. And the allegations simply said that the New Patriotic Party was assigning 30 places in some of the security services for their MPs, their parliamentary candidates. Now, since then, there have been at least 3 or 4 reactions to the allegations. Now, all of the reactions contradict each other. And therefore, we can only come to the conclusion that somebody must be lying, and must be lying big time. The first reaction which came from government was that the allegation was not true, that no allocations have been made to MPP parliamentary candidates. That was the first reaction. Then there was another reaction which said, oh, we are only doing this to clear the backlog. Okay. And then there was a third reaction which said, yes, we've made allocations, but even some of the minority members of Parliament and others have benefited from it. Okay. Then there was another reaction which says that, look, we are only being fair to all the people who had applied earlier to join the security service, and that is in sync with the second reaction, you understand? Now let us examine these reactions. You cannot say the allegation is not true and still claim that you even made allocations to some opposition elements. As if the allegation is not true, it means that no allocations have been made. But to say that some opposition elements have also benefited from the allocations is to confirm the allegation. Now, the issue of backlog and so on is absolutely ridiculous. Okay. And it's ridiculous to the extent that there are qualifications for enlistment into the security services. And for one of our callers, of our texters, has actually explained that. One of the qualifications for enlistment is age. So if there's a backlog scanning a period of 8 years, it means that those people who initially applied 8 years ago are not qualified to join the security services. And that's a huge, problem. So that backlog argument simply collapses. Now, why are we concerned about the allegation that the government is recruiting its own people into the security services? Why are we concerned? Why should there be a concern? One, over the years, it has been established that some of the persons who have entered the security services have entered the security services mainly as a means of securing some advantages to commit crime. Criminal dens are being established within the security services, and that is a matter of worry. One, I recall, for example, that in one of the international conferences we organized in Accra, some policemen and some state protocol personnel actually used state protocol vehicles assigned to visiting dignitaries to commit armed robbery. I hope you remember this. Okay. Now, when the matter was investigated, it turned out that those police officers were what was then referred to as party police. persons who had been recruited because they were members of political parties. And I remember this vividly. Then there was another case which gained public attention of a gang of thieves, robbers, who had actually managed to enter the police training academy, had been trained in weapons handling and so on, and their main purpose was to establish gangs, to rob citizens and so on. Okay. Now, if you have security services within which gangs of robbers establish themselves and so on, it defeats, first and foremost, the purpose of establishing those agencies and puts citizens at risk. This is dangerous. Now, the other thing, too, is that today, I mean, if you contact people in all the security services, allegiance to political groups, political parties, and so on, it's open in the security establishments. So, for example, if you go into the armed forces, the soldiers themselves know who is NPP, who is NDC, and so on. This polarization of the security services is dangerous for the maintenance of national security. You understand? If you have a security service in which people know who is affiliated to what party and so on, and they discuss that openly and so on, it is exceedingly frightening, because it can lead to the collapse of these security services. And in cases of national emergency, it becomes absolutely difficult to mobilize the security forces as single units with a clear purpose of saving the nation. It is dangerous, should not be encouraged. It is not healthy, for us. Now, this discussion is important for many reasons. Okay, many reasons. And Sana, one of the things that worries me very deeply is the fact that over the last couple of years, we've also come to see cases of persons being recruited in the security services who are not qualified. Only recently, something made the rounds, and I'm sure that all of you are clearly aware of it, about persons who have been recruited into the military, whose age appear to be way above the limit. Now that brings into question why there's an age criteria. And I would think that there's an age criteria simply because all of us, our bodies, our organs and so on, cannot function at the same level as we grow older. And for example, if you're in the police service, you need a certain level of agility to be able to perform the function of arrest and so on, restraining people and so on. So if you are recruiting persons who are unfit to be in the security services, it means that when armed robbers strike and you call the police, the persons who will be given the responsibility to protect you would physically be unable to do so. Because the age has been varied, because their physical fitness has not been taken into consideration, and so many things. It simply means that we are recruiting people into the services who cannot perform their duties. Now, just ponder over the fact that we are recruiting persons into the fire service who may not be qualified. Just think about a fire outbreak anywhere. You understand? And the people who are being dispatched to quench the fire are mentally, physically disabled to carry out that duty. What would happen to our country? Just imagine that as we sit here, and there's intelligence reports to support that, we are under the threat of terrorist attacks and invasion. Just imagine that the people who will be trained to combat terrorism are fiscally incapable, are mentally incapable, and academically incapable. What would happen to our country? This is the worry. This is why there's so much talk about this recruitment, you understand? Now, apart from these things about incapacity to perform duties which would be assigned to them and so on, there's also the issue of the complete bastardization of national politics. And on this program, we have received messages from those who are listening to us which are exceedingly worrying. There's one guy who sent a message to us just this morning on this platform and says, look, I support the NPP for helping their members, and I'm disgusted with the NDC for not helping their members. What is he saying? He's saying that citizens don't have the same right to employment. That's what he's saying. And he wants to have a situation where Ghanaian citizens are not equal. That citizens who join political parties have more privileges than citizens who do not join political parties. And this is clearly an affront to the 1992 Constitution. This is clearly an affront to all norms of decency. You understand? Why should we build a society in which those who elect to join the NDC or the NPP have special, what do I say? They are special privileges as against those who want to be regular citizens, who want to pay their taxes, who want to work for improving the society and so on, without allegiance to political formations. This is frightening. It is really, really, really frightening. Is this the kind of society we want to build? Now, there's something else which is important. If indeed it is true, and I have no reason to doubt that it is true, given even the clip that you played on this very program, confessions by party apparatchiks that they have also received slots and so on, I have no reason to doubt that the allegations are not mere allegations, but they are grounded. Okay. But if these allegations are true, and they are indeed grounded, what does it tell us about the fairness of these security agencies? What does it tell us about fairness of these security agencies? There have been cases of malicious prosecution in our country. Now, how does that happen? You can have cases of malicious prosecution if the agencies responsible for investigation and prosecution are compromised. If they refuse to look at the facts and begin to look at party colors and who has a party card and who doesn't have a party card, you would have many incidents of malicious prosecution. The abuse of the apparatus of the state in order to silence critics. So it is directly linked to the freedom of expression. It is directly linked to the freedom of association. It's directly linked with many of the freedoms which our Constitution guarantees for us. If the security services are this polarized, if the security services are controlled by political parties and so on, it means that we cannot enjoy our fundamental rights. And that must be worrying for everybody, even those in the New Patriotic Party, who today may be thinking that this arrangement gives them advantages. And they must be worried, okay, for many reasons. And one of the reasons simply being that there's no way of guaranteeing that any political party will be in power forever. So if you enjoy that privilege today, what about tomorrow when we are no longer in power? Would you not become a victim of the abuses that we have claimed that many people have abused? So it doesn't matter what political party you belong to. We have a responsibility to safeguard, our freedoms, the enjoyment of our freedoms, and so on. But there's something which is even more serious, which, as far as I'm concerned, is the most serious indication. My brother, these recruitments cannot be privatized and handled the way they are being handled without collusion from the leadership of the security organizations. No political party can monopolize recruitment into the police service, the armed forces, the fire service, and whatever exists if there's no collusion with the leadership of the security services. So, right now, as we are discussing these matters, how is this scam being organized? Who in the Ghana Police Service is facilitating the scam? Who in the Ghana Armed Forces has decided that it's going to work with a political party or political parties to ensure that only their members are recruited into the armed forces? Who is sitting at the fire service who is facilitating this scam? This is a very important question. And this immediately brings into question the independence of these security services. Not just the independence of these security services, but the loyalty of the officers of the security services. Are they loyal to Ghana, or they are loyal to the New Patriotic Party? And if they are loyal to the New Patriotic Party, how can they perform their function of being defenders of Ghana and not defenders of individuals, political parties, and cliques? This is a major issue. Major issue. You can't run away from it. If this scam is being perpetrated, then it means the heads of the security services have no independence. Then it means the heads of the security forces are colluding with the New Patriotic Party. And if they are colluding with the New Patriotic Party on filling vacancies and so on in the security services, where would that collusion end? We should be worried about the 2024 elections also. Because if heads of the security services are deliberately and to some extent even openly acting for a political party or political parties, what will they do when elections are rigged? Will they facilitate the rigging of elections? Perhaps, if we take a few steps back into history, we may find answers to some of these questions. About 2 years ago, I was invited to a very solemn ceremony to remember the victims of the Ayawaso West Wuogon mayhem. I was invited as one of the speakers to that solemn ceremony. And so, what I saw was painful. I saw people who would never be able to walk again. Never be able to walk again. I saw people with wounds which would never heal again. I saw people who would never be able to work. At first I spoke about walk, but work again. People who have been disabled for life. Okay? Now, it's important to make reference to the report of the Inner-Short Commission. A commission of inquiry which was not established by me, it was not established by the National Democratic Congress, it was established by the sitting president, who was the presidential candidate of the New Patriotic Party. And indeed, members of the commission included a sitting Supreme Court judge and so on, appointed also by the sitting president and so on. And the Inner-Short Commission made it clear that there were security abuses. You understand? The security services were as it were, used in the perpetrating of these crimes against some of our people and so on. During the proceedings of the commission, at least there was some evidence to the extent that somebody who was working for national security had been recruited from the Kwame Nkrumah circle. And this person was actually selling phones, second-hand phones, when he was recruited, and he didn't go through any process. Check the report, check the proceedings, and so on. Now, doesn't that frighten you? In the last elections, 8 innocent Ghanaians were killed. 8 innocent Ghanaians were killed. By persons believed to be in the security services or associated with the security services. It's frightening. Really frightening. It's an attack on the limited democracy that we have today. This democracy we have has many defects and so on. But for whatever it is, I've heard people say that it is still better than another form of government. There's a dispute about that, but I'm not going to go into that dispute. You understand? But this is a major problem for the exercise of the democratic rights of citizens if security services can be so misused. You understand? Now, I've seen some of the footage on the Ewasu West Wogon mayhem, and you see the vehicles which were used in launching the attacks on innocent citizens. And those vehicles were obviously security vehicles. And in fact, the attackers came in prescribed uniforms of national security establishments and so on. Okay. I'm deeply worried by this. But you see, more than that, there are many other signs that we are seeing which indicate in the clearest possible terms that all state institutions are being bastardized to the disadvantage of citizens. And I mean no words. In the MPP primaries in Yendi, I saw a video of an EC official publicly admitting that he is an MPP member or sympathizer, and that because of the rules, he's unable to sing MPP party songs. I'm sure all of you saw it. Now, if that doesn't frighten you, what will frighten you? EC official publicly admitting. You put that aside. Everybody in Ghana knows, as a fact, that there's an electoral commissioner who is a card-bearing member of the New Patriotic Party. Everybody knows that as a fact. All of us who watch television have seen this gentleman, actually sitting on radio and proclaiming that he will do everything possible to make sure that the NDC does not come to power. And he's a commissioner, electoral commissioner. Should I say more? And we are tolerating that. 6 months to an election, we know there's a card-bearing member of a political party sitting on the Electoral Commission who is swearing that he will do everything possible to make sure that some political party does not come to power. And we are tolerating that. Presidential candidates are going out there campaigning, spending the little resources they have, mobilizing people and so on. You are wasting your time, man. You are wasting your time. If party card-bearing members are commissioners, why are you campaigning? Campaigning to do what? Win what election? The playing field needs to be leveled for all these campaigns to make sense. Because with this kind of situation, it may take a miracle for some parties, some candidates to win elections. So it's not only the security services, even the Electoral Commission itself is under attack. And there are people who say that, you win elections at the polling station, and that it doesn't matter who are the commissioners, and so on. I think that's a bloody lie. It's a lie which we should not countenance at all. You see the recent or ongoing registration of voters exercise. There have been so many petty errors which should frighten us. So, registration exercise, what is involved in assuring the accuracy of figures? Nothing complicated. You understand? Even 5-year-olds can accomplish that. We register one by one. No be so. You don't register 20 at a time, one at a time. So you are only adding once. The first person to register is 1. If you add the second person to the 1, you get 2. If you add the third person, you get 3. That's how you build up the numbers, adding once. And this very simple exercise led to serious errors. Serious errors. Are you not frightened? You have an electoral commission which cannot simply add once. Are you not worried? And don't forget that the last election, results were declared 3 times. Some say 4. But let's assume 3 times. Because of what they claimed were errors in addition. And in fact, even the mode of declaring those results were questionable. In one instance, results were corrected by something which had been typed on a piece of paper without signature. And we accepted that those are valid results. So sometimes the problem is not those who perpetrate evil, those who skew things, those who play with our mandate, those who subvert the national constitution. Sometimes the problem is not with them. The problem is with us all who refuse to resist this outrage. Because if you refuse to resist the outrage, it will be perpetrated against you. And we are not resisting. We are acquiescing. We are accepting the status quo. That's our problem. The minority has made a call for investigations into these allegations. Who is backing those calls? Who is taking steps to make sure that the call is not just contained in a press statement, but becomes a life subject embraced by the population, which together is pushing for some resolution of the matter. That is where we are. We, the citizens, are failing ourselves. We, the citizens, are not taking actions which will compel those in authority to do our will and to do the right things. It's a citizen's failure. We are failing as citizens. We are failing ourselves. We are failing the Constitution, and we are failing our nation. We are not resisting enough. You see, when this issue of appointments to the Electoral Commission came up, I was amazed. What did the NDC do? They wrote nice English on a piece of paper and sent it to the Council of State. And they thought that the Council of State would resolve the matter. You are joking. You are joking. These matters are not resolved that way. They are not resolved by writing beautiful English and submitting to the Council of State. They are not resolved by complaining to the Peace Council. These issues are resolved by mobilizing citizens to say, no, we would not accept this nonsense. That is how you resolve these matters. But some of the leaders in some of the political parties, sometimes you listen to them and you watch them and you begin to ask yourself, what are they up to? Why are they wasting our time? You have a commissioner of the Electoral Commission make a public statement that one particular political party is a danger to the democratic experiment. And he's still sitting there as commissioner, has sat there for more than 2 years. In any other civilized country, the moment he made that statement, the next day he will resign. But in Ghana, you can make this statement and stay there as electoral commissioner, actually participate in organizing the Asin North by-election, participate in organizing the judicial election, and ready yourself to organize the 2024 elections, even though you say that one particular political party is a danger. Can you believe this? Can you believe that this is happening in Ghana? We, the citizens, as for us, we have failed ourselves. We are not mobilizing. We are not challenging things and so on. But the political parties are also failing. They are failing themselves and they are failing their followers. All of us are failing. And I feel ashamed that we've come to this level. I really feel ashamed that this is where we are. If they get away with packing the security services, which other institution would they not pack? CROSAC. CROSAC. Is that what they are? CROSAC. A couple of years ago, made a very interesting allegation. Yes. They are there. Their members are in the public and civil services and so on. They can no longer function because party apparatchiks have been recruited to take over their roles. And CROSAC complained bitterly. What has happened? Nobody bothered with them. Nobody cares about what CROSAC says. The civil service and public service have strict rules for engaging personnel. Those rules have been thrown to the dogs. People are being picked from anywhere and everywhere, not everywhere, anywhere, and particular places to fill these positions, and there's a danger to us. Can you believe that when Ken Ofori-Atta presented his last budget, civil servants mobilized to give him a welcome at his ministry. What an aberration. Unbelievable. Civil servants lined up the streets to welcome him because he had presented a budget he did not write, a budget which was authored by the IMF. And all of us know what IMF packages are and their impact on our society. Unbelievable. But you see, if we refuse to speak, if we refuse to protest, we have no right to complain. If we refuse to protest, to speak out and so on, it means that we have accepted what is happening and we should bear the consequences. My brother, we should bear the consequences when we refuse to speak and talk. I heard Mr. Atufosin challenge the Interior Minister to bring proof that people in the minority have also been allocated spaces. So if he brings proof, what? I don't care whether people in the minority have also been given places or not. That is not the issue. The issue is that nobody should be given places and that people should be able to compete on their merit for employment into the security services. So whether or not the minority got 20, 50, 70 and so on is immaterial. It's not part of the discussion. The discussion is that there are privileged people who, by their position in society, by their position in political parties, minority, majority, and so on, are getting recruitment into the security services to the disadvantage of perhaps more qualified persons. So it doesn't matter whether the minority had 200 or 2,000 and so on. It's not an issue. And whether or not the Interior Minister is able to bring proof or not is not an issue. The issue is that this must be aborted quickly. And that we must revert to the times and practices where recruitment into the security services was done on merit. You see, recently, there was a plot to remove the Inspector General of Police. It is still fresh in my mind. And I know that it is still fresh in everybody's mind. Now, I'm sitting here and wondering, where is the report of that committee? Have you seen the report? Have you seen the report of that committee that Parliament established?
All we need is that they are the members of Parliament. They will see it before us.
Yeah, but isn't it ridiculous that you have 7 police officers publicly admitting that their allegiance is with the ruling party and that they are ready to help the ruling party win elections? 7 senior officers of the police make these public admissions before a parliamentary committee that me, all my life, my whole family is Dankwa Buzia. And there's nothing wrong with proclaiming that. We are 6 months to an election. And the parliamentary committee's report is missing. We can't find it. It's nowhere. Are you not frightened? Are you not frightened? Are you not frightened that we are living in a republic where 7 police officers can actually admit that we're plotting to remove the IGP because he's too independent? If he's there, my party is not likely to win an election. Are you not frightened by that? Are we not worried that that report is still missing? We don't have that report? What is delaying that report? Why is the issue being buried under the carpet? And in fact, my brother, why is the minority telling us about recruitment into the police service? When this committee's report could have helped all of us to put our foot down, could have shed light on some of the happenings in the police service. in the police service. Why? Why are they not forcing? They're in Parliament. Why are they not forcing for the release of that report and for that issue to be concluded finally? Why are they not? Now, if you are not insisting that that report should be released as quickly as possible for action to be taken, why are you telling us about recruitment into the police service? Why? Why are you wasting our time? So these are very serious matters, and I'm hoping that our discussion today would contribute in small measure. Who are we, the three of us here? The only big man around here is Suhini. He is the honorable member of parliament.
Issue.
The rest of us are ordinary mortals, ordinary citizens. But perhaps if we combine like Captain Planet, we may be able, if we combine our forces like Captain Planet, or is that Captain Planet? Yes, I think so. We may be able to bring about, to create some effect. Because otherwise, all these discussions, so they are useless. Come and talk, and go home, nothing happens. But I'm going to make a special appeal. You see, right now, if you look at Ghana, there are so many retired, prominent citizens of this country who have served in the security services and who devoted their entire life to building the security services, building security services of integrity. Why are they silent? Why are they silent? Those security chiefs, why are they silent? As it is here. My own friend Kudalo, former Inspector General of Police, is he happy with what is happening in the police service? Why is his mouth sealed? Why is he not able to talk, to tell us what the standards should be and so on? IGP Al-Hassan, where is he? Kofi Buachi, Commissioner of Police Kofi Buachi, where is he? Is he missing? Is he happy with what is happening in the police service? Are they no longer citizens of Ghana? Can they talk? My classmate, General Michu, where is he? General Michu was my classmate in Sakasaka Primary School. Where is he? Why is he silent? Why can't he talk? Why can't he open his mouth? General Blay, CDS, where is he? Can these people tell us the standard which is expected in the security services that they help to build? There's another one. My very good friend from Winneba, what is his name? He became CDS. What is his name? Oh my goodness. General Nunu Mensah, where are you? All of these retired generals and inspector generals of police and security capos and so on, where are they? Can they come together? Can they come together? I'm not saying that they should go and plot a coup. No, that's not what I'm talking about. They should come together and review the situation in the security services and give us answers, point to a direction, and warn us about the dangers inherent in politicizing the security services. Where are all these people? Why are they hiding? Why have they sealed their mouths? I'm embarrassed by their silence. And some of them are great people who contributed tremendously to improve the services that they had. Take somebody like IGP Al-Hassan. The concept of visibility, making the police visible everywhere and so on, he implemented it with gusto. He helped us to reduce the incidence of armed robbery and so on. Why is he quiet and hiding today? Why is he? It is up to them. If this country should sink, we will sink with all of them together. If there's mayhem in this country, they cannot escape. Their children will suffer some. Their wives will suffer some. Their grandchildren will suffer some. They should take it as a duty to themselves to help us effect these changes. They should take it as a duty to themselves and to their country to speak out, to point in the right direction. I am disgusted by their silence.
Thank you. Thank you very, very much. I'll do a few messages from YouTube. Some of the comments you're sending to us via YouTube. YouTube has the biggest viewership on social media nowadays. This one says, okay, Ghana is suffering from intellectual leadership commitments. That's Francis Gordon. There's Wasawa. Says this Alan guy should give us a break. What did his boss do with Commander Sugar Factory under his ministry? Absolutely nothing. Common sugar cane, he couldn't grow for 7 good years.
Is that the issue? Today, the Ghana we are in, is that the issue? Is it about what Alan did and didn't do? Is it about what John Muhammad did and didn't do? Yeah. The issue is that this country is sinking. And all of us, in spite of what we may have done or have done in the past, need to unite to rescue this country from further collapse. This is not the time to divide us further. If all of us claim that we want to build a new and prosperous Ghana, let us work together. Whether it is Alan or John Mahama or whatever, this is the time to work together and close ranks to rescue this country. Stop that.